Welcome to Confessions of a Terrible Leader, where real leaders share the raw truth about the lessons they learned the hard way so you don't have to. Join our host, Layci Nelson, founder of Transcend Leadership Collective and former terrible leader. Every leader can become worthy of being followed if they are willing to put in the work. On this podcast, we share the messy stories and behind-the-scenes reality of what the work actually entails. We welcome you to this community of revolutionary leaders who believe honest communication, healthy conflict, and building cultures of acceptance, respect, and trust are not only possible, but non-negotiable for cultivating world-class teams.
Hello and welcome back to Confessions of a Terrible Leader. I'm your host and former terrible leader, Layci Nelson. Whew, Happy New Year. This is the first recording I'm actually doing in the new year, and I am really looking forward to just diving in with both feet. I get excited with the energy. I know some people want to ease into the new year. That is not my vibe. If it is yours, that is great. Know your own rhythms, know your strength, know when to hold and capture that energy and dig in. So today I want to share with you, this is going to be a short one. I have been thinking about some ways that the workplace is changing, that industries are changing, that requirements and expectations on both the sides of the leadership and the frontline employees are changing. And one of the things that I see becoming, this has started in tech, but now it's starting to trend down, trend out, I guess, from tech into other industries, is there is no longer a guaranteed demand for a college degree to land or be eligible to apply for a job in sectors and in positions that used to pay to play was to get that bachelor's degree and at least an AA. Like that was required to even be considered for many positions outside of things that you can apprentice for and go the journeyman route. So we're starting to see a shift in that, and I am here for it. And let me tell you why. This might be controversial. I don't care if it is. I think a lot of college is overrated. A lot of requiring a bachelor's degree is overrated. There's some things that you learn going through the college process that are great. Like if someone has gone through school start to finish, it demonstrates tenacity. It demonstrates the ability to stick with something when you don't want to. I guess that's tenacity, right? It demonstrates discipline. There has to be a degree of discipline to finish your education. We know those things. I have my bachelor's degree. I'm married to someone with a doctorate and was with him, watching him go through that entire process. We were married when he was earning it. So I don't want to minimize, like there's a lot of value in education, but it's not the only place that there's value. So the lesson that I am learning is to not overvalue a college degree and bias the expectation I have for someone's intelligence, capacity to learn solely on their education. That is a huge mistake. And I will also say, I have more than once been around tables when I have heard people speaking in a way that is just inaccurate and honestly a little bit dehumanizing towards people that are from a lower socioeconomic status, maybe have not experienced higher education. And there is this perception that, by the way, when people are speaking, they typically don't know where I came from. They don't know I came from a trailer court. They do not understand the lens with which I am listening or the filter I'm listening through the conversation with. So when they are talking about it, there's this conceptualization that people that are the typical frontline staff that are quote unquote typical, that don't have higher education, maybe they graduated from high school, maybe they didn't, However, there's just a limit to what their learning capacity is. That is a message that is communicated as a belief of a lot of people in decision making and in leadership positions. And frankly, it's wrong. It's not accurate. When we start to think that intelligence is correlated, is a causation, having a higher degree and intelligence is instead of correlated relationship, causation relationship, we are missing out and massively underestimating the talent of the people working on our front lines. The people on the front lines are not dumb. They are not unintelligent people. They just have chosen in some instances or have been handed a different life path, and they are massively intelligent. These are the people that I grew up with. So I am speaking from experience here. They might not have the same vocabulary or have read the same books, but it doesn't mean with the right intention and time taken to explain a concept that they're not going to be able to understand a higher level concept and jump on board. They understand macro and microeconomics just fine. You just need to say it in a way that they can grasp onto it. Here's my 2 cents on this is that we in leadership need to realize that our people all across the organization have capacity and need to be introduced to the higher level concepts that are foundational, formational for why they do their jobs, for what their jobs are about, for the things that you're like, they're not really going to get it. I don't know. I don't want to go down. I don't want to open that can of worms. No. If the reason you don't want to open the can of worms is because you don't think they're going to be able to grasp the concept, you are operating in a false bias that is doing nothing but harming the people that work for you. And honestly, you're missing out on their potential and the possibility for creativity. You're harnessing or not harnessing, you are capping their potential. You're putting a lid on it. You need to open up the space and give them opportunities to surprise you. And the first step in that is recognizing your own biases that you may be carrying around and the conversations that you are not having with people because you think, they're just not going to get it. If they don't get it, 9 times out of 10, it's not because they don't have the capacity to understand it. It's because you don't have the capacity to explain it well. Sit with that for a minute. We must develop an exceptional communication skill set when we're in leadership. It's vital to always be working on being a better, more efficient, more effective communicator. Writing content and creating and speaking on this podcast, boy, does it show me how many extra words and circles I talk in. Not saying I've got this mastered, but by any means. However, it is something I am always paying attention to with the intention of improvement in being a more effective, succinct communicator. I can say, if I say something, like if you follow on Instagram, if you follow the Transcend Leadership Collective, I'm in stories a lot. And there's times where I will put up 3 stories and pull them down and then say what I wanted to say that took me 3 stories length of time in one story. I actually just did this the other day because I realized, wow, that was way too many words and the point got lost. We don't have the luxury of always thinking out loud and communicating in circles and expecting people to be able to keep up or follow along and then looking at them like there's something wrong with their quote unquote mental fitness level if they can't keep up. That is on us. We are not actually sprinting forward, friends. We might think we're just hearing ourselves pontificate. No, we are running around in circles and expecting people to follow us and not fall over or get seasick. And we need to be able to be extremely effective, clear communicators, practice being succinct, practice the ability to communicate a high-level concept at a 4th grade reading level. That takes a massive amount of skill and intelligence to be able to take a high-level concept, break it down, and teach it effectively and with simplicity and in the right order, as well as in the right amount of information. Don't fire hose people. You have to teach it a piece at a time. You can't expect a 4-year degree on macroeconomics to be downloaded in a 10-minute conversation to someone. That's not how you learned it. So all of this to say, we need to not underestimate people. We need to not underestimate their capacity to learn high-level concepts, their capacity to excel. We need to create opportunities for people across our organizations to surprise us. And we need to acknowledge our own biases in these areas where we have been limiting people's potential because we're making assumptions that aren't necessarily fair or accurate. That is my challenge for you, is to look inside to figure out, where am I doing this? What biases am I holding on to? What assumptions am I making about people's capacity for learning and execution that are tied to their socioeconomic status or their education level that maybe is actually not serving them well, not serving you well, not serving anyone well? Start working on becoming better at communicating succinctly, efficiently, clearly, and watch how things explode for you all. That's what I got for today. All right, my friends, go manage like a leader.
Thanks for being part of this community of revolutionary leaders who believe honest communication, healthy conflict, and building cultures of acceptance, respect, and trust are not only possible, but non-negotiable for cultivating world-class teams. If one-to-one coaching, engaging workshops, or strategic planning that is actually useful are anything that interests you, make sure to head over to www.transcendleadershipcollective.com to check out our free resources. Confessions of a Terrible Leader is hosted by Layci Nelson and produced by Mary Scott. Music is by Leif Olson and Mary Scott from the band The Number of Months. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, go manage like a leader.